Alrighty guys, like I said, I do more videos. This one isn't a controversial one. It's not going to upset too many people. I mean, it might. I actually recorded quite a couple of these and thought to myself, who the fuck are you to have an opinion on anything? Essentially a bunch of self-doubt. In defiance of all of that, here goes. Before I go on, I will say, I've not been applying this particularly well myself in the last few weeks. I've been a bit... But this is, I suppose, one of my steps towards going... if that makes any sense. Anywho, when I first started this business, I said I was going to change the world. To help my customers, my readers, and my followers get more out of their lives. And when I told my friends about this goal 3 or so years ago, a few of them started taking the piss. And began accusing me of having a messiah complex. I took umbrage to this label and vowed to one day discuss it. 3 years later, and here I am. So eat a dick, guys. You know who you are. The plan wasn't to deny my messiah complex or to proclaim that I'm special in any way. On the contrary, I always planned this as an invitation for my readers and friends to embrace and cultivate their own messiah complexes for the betterment of themselves and those around them. The postmodern enlightened age has really got people believing there's nothing out there and subsequently nothing greater than us. We are told that we exist in one of billions of multiverses, and so our decisions and our lives mean ultimately nothing. There's no magic, no spirit, and certainly no God. Only the physical world exists. Anything that we are yet to explain, we will one day explain. So fuck it. Who gives a shit? The sun's gonna die in a few billion years, the oceans are rising. Who cares? This is the current paradigm of the age, the zeitgeist of pseudo-intellectual nihilists existentially sighing at how transient and meaningless everything is. And in my opinion, it's a fucking cop-out. It's utter rubbish. Because I find people are all too willing to embrace this mindset, not because they've thought about it or have pondered their own existence, but merely because it helps justify selfish, short-term pleasure-seeking in favor of long-term, worthwhile work. And whether or not you believe in God, a universal consciousness, or a divine plan, you shouldn't let the current belief structure or zeitgeist, let's say, or whatever happens in Rick and Morty, rob you of thinking that your life may or may not have meaning. But Eamon, I'm happy living a life without cares beyond my daily survival and short-term enjoyment. Are you, though? If life intrinsically has no meaning, and nothing is real, then the only real thing that you experience in your life is pain. And that's not a particularly pleasant idea. Are you happy living a meaningless life? Don't you feel somewhere deep inside there might be something more? I mean, I can confidently say most people I speak to on a daily basis seem to have a dysphoria or frustration within themselves. This manifests in many ways, be it a drinking problem, gaming addiction, Netflix dependency, or some sort of meaningless consumerism. And I'm not here judging. I have the same dysphoria and the same urges. I've lived that life, and sometimes I still do live that life, because fucking I ain't perfect. Is this feeling of dissatisfaction or desiring more inherently bad? Hell no. If you're content, you'd never get anything done. If we didn't have this burning desire within ourselves, we'd be fat, lazy, and indifferent. This empty void, this dysphoria, is a vital part of the human experience. It's the feeling, and it's that feeling, it's the driving force for change. It's what gets you to finally go to the gym, to quit your dead-end job, or to go talk to that pretty girl you like, or guy, fucking include everybody, Eamon. Every one of you has something that only you can give the world that no one else can. And yes, that sounds like hippie, new age bullshit, but I do believe it. Your time here matters, and the choices you make matter. And that comes to what you choose to do for work, what sort of food you eat, and what you choose to buy. And a lot of bullshit pop psychologists, new agers, and other idiots that don't know any better like to say, you should be happy just the way you are. You should accept yourself. And while I appreciate what some of them are trying to say, I feel that for the most part, a majority of the sleeping idiots that see these philosophies in the form of Instagram, Tumblr, or Facebook posts interpret them as, yeah, I'm a lazy pile of shit. I'm not happy about that, but I need to learn to accept that I'm a lazy pile of shit. Alright? The mindset you need to adopt is, yes, I'm a lazy pile of shit, but I'm capable of so much more. And if I work on myself, maybe someday, I won't be so much of a lazy pile of shit. This feeling of discontent is not supposed to be repressed or covered up with self-acceptance. It should be used as the driving force to cultivate positive change. A lot of the New Age guff says that you come here complete. You just need to love. Whatever the fuck that means. You're complete on this planet in the same way a seed is a tree. Alright? All the things you need to grow are already within you. Already the nutrients are there. The potential's there. And you've got this little fire. The deep underlying feeling that you shouldn't just be content hanging out buried in the dirt. You're a fucking tree. Dig your roots deep and push your ass up. And the seeds that grow into the biggest, mightiest, strongest fucking trees aren't just covered in dirt. They're covered in shit. So if you're sitting there going, I'm covered in shit, everything sucks. You're not gonna fucking... It's exactly what you need to basically nurture that feeling of, fuck this, life could be better. Boom! Giant ass fucking redwood. So back to the Messiah complex. Dirtbag millennials such as myself were told in school that we were special. They got it half true. We can be special. If we choose to stop living unfulfilled, empty, meaningless lives. And now I'm going to piss off a few atheists, some agnostics, and possibly even some Muslims with the next part of my essay. The Western world's prime figurehead for self-development and being all that you can be is Christ, in my opinion. And I'm not here pumping the Christian horn, but in the Christian mythos, you have a boy or man from humble beginnings who disciplined himself, traveled the world, learned some shit, and came back home to teach what he'd learned. He spoke the truth, he helped those he could, and he kicked the shit out of those who deserved it. And he may have died for it, but certainly he lived a lot longer than those fucking Romans did. But now, far be it from me, a mad Arab, ha ha ha, funny joke, to tell you to be a martyr. It's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is, you can make a difference by living your truth and disciplining yourself. And now to piss off the Jews and the Christians, because I'm about equality. Here goes. I don't think Christ was all that special. From the get-go. He ended up special, but he was just a seed, like the rest of us. He just grew into a pretty formidable tree instead of some sort of little dingly sapling or shrub, like some of us are content in being. But I hear you say, Amen! He was the Son of God! I am just mere mortal! Personally, I never understood that bit of the narrative. And like I said, here I am to piss other people off. I've pissed off one camp, down and piss off the other. This is the beauty of walking the middle path. But anyway, I consider myself personally a product of the universe, alright? And this product was a manifestation of the great cosmic giggle, or the Big Bang. And so everything that preceded me led to the creation of me. And the space dust that makes up one bona fide Amen is the same space dust that makes up everything else. Ipso facto, we're all children of God. But then again, your belief in all of that doesn't matter. The only thing you need to believe in is yourself. Believe in the me that believes in you. I can't remember what that's from. Fuck it, alright? But the only thing you need to believe in is yourself. That's all that matters. You and everyone around you chooses the future that we live in tomorrow. You and everyone around you chooses the future we live in tomorrow. Will you build us a prison, or will you build us a garden? And if you believe you can change the world for the better, then start on changing yourself. Jordan Peterson talks about cleaning your room. It's a great place to start. And I swear, once you get your foundation right and you start actively working towards bettering yourself and your situation, the world will start helping you in magical ways. Now, whether or not God exists, whether or not there's a divine plan, you are the one who gives your life meaning. If you choose to think that you are unimportant and the choices you make mean nothing, then guess what? You're probably going to live a rather worthless existence. If you ever realize the impact you can make and strive every day to make sure you have a positive impact, not a negative one, then you, my friend, are destined for greatness, or at least betterness than yesterday. Because really the only thing you can do is not make one big grandiose declaration and do one huge thing. It's like little baby steps that make here not as shit as here, and so on until it's fucking awesome. Anyhow, the choices you make are your responsibility. Your life is yours to live, and if you don't define your life's purpose, then someone else will define it for you. Every decision you make, every product you buy, every minute you waste in frivolity, or every minute you invest in making your life better, affects you and those around you. Whether you want to quit your dead-end job and pursue a career writing novels, or simply to stop buying products that use slave labor or unnecessary plastic packaging. If your life is meaningless, then you can eat what you want, buy what you want, do what you want, and it affects no one because ultimately it's all meaningless. You live a meaningless life, leave a meaningless corpse. Sweet! Consider that you are the product of a giant explosion of stardust billions of years ago, coming together on a tiny, vulnerable, little, itty-bitty fucking planet in a universe of practically, observably nothing. On top of that, you are the result of a bunch of stable molecules miraculously deciding to form a bunch of monocellular organisms, who then decided to team up with other monocellular organisms, followed by millennia of painstaking evolution. And during this, somehow, each one of your ancestors managed to survive in order to make another baby. From the fish who figured out breathing on land, the rat that managed to avoid being stomped on by a fucking dinosaur, fast forward to the pure proto-human who managed to survive freezing cold winters with no food. Proto-human then formed a stable society based on barter and cooperation instead of violence, surviving countless battles, floods, famines, diseases, Viking raids, and you're the product of an endless line of fighters and survivors, yet you have the audacity to think for a fucking second that your life is meaningless. On behalf of your ancestors, go fuck yourself, you little entitled existential baby. Pick your shit up and do something with yourself. What I'm trying to say is it's a miracle that any of us are here. And we have the power to shape both our future as individuals and as a collective. And if you can't appreciate or at least entertain the significance of your own existence, then you're either scared, lazy, or willingly ignorant. Embrace your own agency, whether or not you choose to appreciate it, because if you feel your life is meaningless or empty, then it's your fault, and it's your duty to find that responsibility. And I can promise that not only will the world tailor itself to help you once you find that, it will also be that much easier to get out of bed in the morning.
I am the hype!
Everyone, blah, 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 blah.